So what we've done into the color story, and this is CoCre8, we, instead of looking at the world, right, it's not just that it's so black and white. So really, you look at about shades of gray, right? But also, why can't gray be very beautiful? What we've done into the overall background, and you can see on the grid, that it was decolorized into a pale yellow level 10. And if you give them just a slow spin, the key after this to create these beautiful silver cool bases is going through and creating a tone that I'm using more of a beige base that would be a blue-violet that would squash the palest yellow. Because oftentimes gray can look like a mistake, but also a shade of that would be considered a neutral gray can be really beautiful. Yeah? In a conservative palette or not. Yeah? You change the hue and the tone. What's beautiful is through the interior, you can see that there's the placement in the grid, that you see all of the magical colors spilling away, right? We chose to work with the violets, the oranges, the acid greens. Into the placement of it, what's really cool is as you diffuse it, you flip-flop. You start with a medium base, diffuse it into something lighter and brighter that's going to run the exterior. In the shape of it, the architecture, you can see that it travels throughout the whole side as well as throughout the exterior. It just becomes a little shadowed throughout the underneath to accentuate the shape. The cut is round. If you choose to work in shades of a blonde palette, a red palette, a brunette palette, get down, right? It's whatever you and your client are into, and that's cool, right? Make your dough. But at the same, let's create something that just creates different shadows, highs and lows to tell a really beautiful story. Yeah?
Beautiful.
Thank you, CoCre8.
Thank you, Christy. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, Jeannine, come on forward, darling. So with Jeannine, again, working with our story of really why in a world of black and white, because let's face it, every single one of us lives in this black and white world. Why not kind of combine the two together and create a more gray balance so that then that gray is a background for anything else you want to put with. So all the colors that we've used here have a gray background, and then the colors we've added have accented. Now, that doesn't mean to say that what you're seeing on stage, you have to go back and try and talk your clients into having pale pink hair and a gray background. But the patterns that we've created for you can be utilized in all naturals. They can be combined with naturals and fashion colors. So it's all about the pattern and the placement. So with Jeannine, you can kind of see from my diagram up here, we have a pre-lightened base and we have taupes working through the hair. So as you can see, there's a shadow of a taupe. Underneath that, there's a very strong, darker pink working all the way through the perimeter of the hair. So through the base of the hair, this darker pink is my shadowing. On top of that, we have vertical pieces running through of a lighter base pink, and then a taupey color next to it, the taupe being the gray smoky color that neutralizes the fact that the pink is so vibrant, giving you this more muted effect and enabling us to really be able to kind of shadow through the hair, through the perimeter, underneath, putting slices through. So it's really all about the placement in this particular kind of style that you get this shadowing. With the haircut, what I've also done here, I've really carved out the hairline, created something a bit more interesting, because usually you see a very kind of strong hairline, you know, almost up to the hairline at the hair presentations, or a sweep. And I thought it'd be great to kind of do something carving out with my razor and working through these scooping effects. So everything through the front has this kind of scooped out effect, very strong, really emphasizing those beautiful cheekbones and bringing emphasis to the eyes too. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you love our model, Jeannine.
Gorgeous.
She's gorgeous. Actually, you know what? We've got this kind of funky little thing because the two of us together, even though we're kind of like on stage and we're having to give you the information that we need to give you, we kind of have this funky thing going that where rather than applause, you might want to try this as well. We do a drum roll, you know? So like the big reveal, the drum roll. And the drum roll goes like this. And it's kind of fun to do. So before we kind of start talking about the next model, if I say drum roll, please, can I get one? Yeah? Drum roll, please. See, doesn't that feel good? And when we all do it together, it makes the world a better place.
Oh,
it really
sharing
does.
is caring. You're right. As we move on through the first set, we're calling this collection, it is all about street couture. Right? Not only is it into the blacks and whites, right? I mean, isn't hair color about the lights, the mediums, and the darks, yeah? So here, taking the inspiration of the Street Couture, and I think we're actually into a flip-flop of a slide. I think this is into this patterning is Bianca.
Yeah, this Bianca's pattern. We can change models though.
Why don't we change it? Sorry, Ricky. We'll see you in a minute.
Bianca, come on forward. Yeah,
so we're going to bring
us your slide.
Bianca.
We'll have you up here, hey? There you go.
Because here, whenever you look at a lot of this new infatuation, right? Salons are always about hand painting, balayage, we're calling it hair painting, free everything, right? It's whatever you're calling it. It's cool, right? It's a service, it's a way of applying. So here, though, what we've done is a lot of shadows and interiors. One of the favorite canvases throughout, again, working into a clean level 10, as well as we're kind of working on that darker level 6 that also comes throughout the level 10, creating them more of an iridescent base. Metallic shades, really light pastel shades, have become what is called trend. Well, this new iridescence, where it's this opaque illusion, but it has high reflective shine. Yeah? The tone and the hue itself is what is keeping it interesting. So working in a high blue-violet base, what it's done is more influence of the violet creates this beautiful gray hue. This tone can also be a woven shadow that would work throughout a low light, all right, on a really cool ashen blonde as well. It doesn't have to become the background. The best part is where the painting comes in, the freehand work. Here, you can see throughout the sides, just in panels that are taken over the ridge, you can see that the panels separate and remove. So there, you create the pattern and the accent, which is really fun. We know that a lot of creativity is there, and even if you're going to do it in an interest, that you're going to work in peaks of highs and lows through it, it doesn't necessarily have to be the contrast pattern. It's the art of diffusion. So take this services, because at the same time, in our freehand work, or our hand painting work, it's not going anywhere, right? Hand painting work is actually going to be around for at least the next 10 to 12 years, right? So if you're not getting into it, then someone else is going to take your dough, right? So embrace it however you can and customize it. Thank you so much, darling.
Should we see what slide first? Let's see whose slide comes up. So let's take a look at the next slide, and then we'll know which model to bring forward. Working with technicians, it's always a wonderful thing. Oh, here we go. Great.
No, it's Ricky.
It's Ricky. There we go, Ricky. So Ricky, what we got here, as you can see, again, using that beautiful kind of gray background, what I decided to do was work here with, you can see the very strong blue panel that we put in either side of the hairline and the ear, and then the violets that we've used inside of that. So if I kind of separate out the hair here, that you'll see there's this kind of surprise of color working through, where we can kind of swap the hair from looking completely gray and taupey to really having this beautiful kind of flow of violets and blues working through, a lot stronger and a lot bolder. So it's almost like a little kind of hidden secret that's underneath the hair. And this technique I also use a lot in the salon with blondes. So like if someone really says, you know, I really want to kind of go blonde, I want to go more platinum, rather than doing the whole head, what I'll do a panel underneath where the parting naturally is. So almost on the opposite side, almost like a triangular shape. And that way, what we can do, we can use that triangle to reveal a stronger blonde that overlaps the rest of the hair, that really becomes the focal feature of not only the hairstyle, but of where the color's been placed. So some of the ways that we kind of show you these patterns, if you think of them in the forms of natural, on a brunette, this could be a panel of red and maybe a panel of a violet brown inside of there that gives a more reddy glow to the hair, more like a cherry wood kind of look. So that's one of the things that we've kind of really been strong on with taking these color patterns and thinking about how the implementation can be used. And I don't know if any of you are coming to our class this afternoon. We're actually going to be doing a cutting and color class this afternoon and styling, and then one again tomorrow. I think our one tomorrow is 9 o'clock, isn't it?
9 a.m.
So we're going to be going through a lot of ideas in that class of, again, color placement, taking people through hair painting, some great cutting techniques and some great styling techniques. But you can see how something like this can be very extreme, as we show in here, but with a soft feel, or it can be very natural looking. Okay, thank you, darling.
Gorge, gorge, gorge.
Okay. Very last model.
All right.
Come on forward, darling.
Come on over, Brendies. Now, working into the deeps along with the lights, what's fantastic about this, as you can see, it's all about interior placement. The interior color that works into the round of the head is where all of the light diffusion takes place. You can see from the depth, and just tilt forward just a slight bit. Just tilt forward, tilt forward. You can see that it moves from the deep to the light to the deep, which is really hot, and then up again. What's nice is it creates this shine band all the way through. So wherever the color diffuses, just give them a full spin, and stop. So what's nice is it just creates light reflection all the way through. Work this into a fringe, work it through the interior into a bob form. Again, it's just a fusion of light. It can be 1 level difference, 2 levels difference, right? But it's about keeping the clarity. The art of diffusion throughout that simple interior could actually be, if you're salon servicing, it's an interior partial highlight, right? But it's done within a band. So it just allows light and actual shadows to actually create what is your lights and darks and grays. Yeah? Something easy, something cool, and it just works with the precision of the bob shape. Thank you, Brendy. Beautiful.
Thank you, darling.